Hi everyone. Hi. How are you all? Doing well? Very well? All right. Great. So you all are sitting in a packed auditorium. How many of you all know it's raining outside? You know it's raining? All right. None of you all know it's raining? No? I think you should take a break and go outside. I assure you this is going to be as short as possible for you all to take a break and go outside and come back. All right. Well, let me do my job though. Sure. Yeah. All right. Let me still try and do my job. All right. I got a good introduction, so I'm not introducing myself again. So let's come straight to the point. When I was told that I have to speak in front of a young and vibrant audience like all of you, I was just thinking probably it's the right time for me to look back, reflect on my career when I left college and I started my role in BNY. So I've been there for 16 years, like I during my introduction it was mentioned. So what did I do for 16 years? So when I joined the organization, I remember it was obviously at an entry level. It was a small four-member team sitting right on that corner of the huge floor, very small team in sitting in a corner. We had not much of interaction with anyone else. All right. Now I went into that organization with only three or four principles in mind. I have to work hard. I'm very dedicated. I'm very disciplined. I know I need to grow, and for that, I'll work hard in order to grow. That's it. I also had been part of a B school, but when I went in, I knew I had to resonate whatever I have learned. But this is all that I went in. That was just my vision, right? I think all of you will have that same kind of a thought process when you join your organization after you finish your college. After that, I don't know, maybe my manager saw that I was very hardworking. I was ambitious, probably. Within a year down the line, I got an opportunity so someone came and told me, there's an opportunity within the same line of business, but there's a new migration that's coming in. So if you're interested, then please apply for it. I applied, I got through, I got shortlisted, and I was very happy about it. Normally, no one gets promoted in like 1.5 years, right? So I was very happy about it. And the day one in my new process, it was obviously a bigger team than what I can think of. Like it was 12-member team, I guess. So obviously bigger. And every other individual was one better than the other. So too much competition. And when we started the work, it was humongous. Very, very different from what I was doing in my first role. So in my first role, I think I would say it was very minuscule, very granular part of the entire life cycle. Here, it was the entire life cycle that we were expected to learn and deliver. So if I put it in terms of, how to explain it better to you, what maybe I had learned in one entire year in my first process, I was expected to learn and deliver in maybe one day in the new process. Well, that's the way it is. But I got promoted, so I was happy about it, right? It came with a lot of challenges, lot of sleepless nights, lots of escalations, errors, because we all were new, right? It was a migration process, something new that had come in. Not many of us knew how to work. We all made mistakes. We learned, but there was just that one thing which kept me driving. That was, I knew, as I said, the few things that I joined with, I have to learn, I have to grow, and I'm hardworking. That's what kept me motivated. A few years down the line, I got into another role that was obviously a team leader role. So I was very happy that I got into a leadership role, probably around 3 years down the line in my career. I was managing a team of 10 people. So I think I got promoted sometime in November or December. 3 weeks down the line, I receive an email stating that tomorrow we are going to have an audit. So be prepared for it. I think it was sent to my manager and probably she sent it late to me, but nevertheless. I accepted it because by that time I had become a subject matter expert. I knew everything kind of in and out of my process. So I thought I'll be in a position to handle that audit with ease, right? And then reality struck. So the auditor comes and sits and says, okay, can you show me this document? Can you show me this record? And when I said, I got into a new role, that was a completely different team, right? I was only a subject matter expert. I didn't know where, records and documents, etc., were saved. I was still learning. And out of, I think there were some 20 checkpoints in that audit report. Out of that, all the 19 were in red. Probably I wonder why maybe I just got a kind of a grace marking with just one item in green, but the rest of it was all in red. So it was a failure. And what did I do after that? Um, I wanted to learn. I got an opportunity. I need to ensure that I have to prove myself, right? That's when I realized the importance of collaboration, right? My manager was on her, I think, we have this annual mandatory vacation. So I was not in a position to obviously ask her for help. The audit rework was supposed to be submitted in about 2 weeks' time. I didn't have anyone to go for guidance. So what did I do? I can't sit back because I have to own it. This is my process, right? It's my responsibility to give a good audit finding, a good audit report. So what did I do? That's when I realized that I have in my organization, there's so many avenues where I can collaborate with individuals who are maybe my peers, maybe, people from other teams who might have gone through the same process before me. So, I started interacting with them and I realized there's so much of an open door policy in our organization. Everyone was really welcoming. They helped me out. And I obviously had to work hard. Of course, it's my process. So I had to take up everything in stride and ensure that everything was ready until by the time the rework happened. The rework happened and it was a clean report that I got. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it the first time, but at least in the second time, second time around, we got a good report. So that, of course, was a turning point, a learning phase in my, in that journey, in this journey, where I realized that maybe, I could have stuck up with feeling bad about not having been able to deliver. But at that point in time, I had no option. I had to own it, right? And that's one of the principles that our organization kind of, speaks about. And one of my favorite principles as well. We need to take ownership of what we are doing, what position we are at. Every time it's not easy that you'll get an environment which is very supportive. You need to find solutions, you need to find a way out, and if you try, then there's nothing that can stop you. All right, a few years down the line, I later on went on to help several others who needed help and audits, etc. So that's part of the story. Several years, some years down the line, I thought I have done enough in operations. So let me take up an opportunity in another role which is outside of operations. That's into project management. Everyone was very excited about it because, getting into project management at that point in time was considered to be something very high profile in comparison to, the operations roles. So when I went into that process, the first day, there were no teams in India at that time. We only had global counterparts, different parts of the world. So everyone got into a call to welcome me into the team. And when they introduced themselves, I realized every individual in the team were at least 20 years into that particular role that they were at. And I probably was just, say, 6 years or something in the organization itself. So at the end, of course, I got a lot of opportunities, huge learning, lots of learning. I was always curious about things. I got to learn a lot from them, undoubtedly. But at the end of the year, when we get this appraisal period, I'm sure all of you all know about that. At that point in time, I sat with my manager and he gave me a met expectation. You know what is met expectation? That you're okay, you're a good performer. That's it. You're not an excellent performer. You're a good performer. I was very demotivated because so many years I have been an excellent performer. How come I was just a normal performer? that kind of, I was not very happy about it, although I did speak with them. And they explained me, you're still new into the project role. There's a long way you need to go. And I accepted that as a feedback, but still that was lingering in my mind. At around a couple of months down the line, there was another opportunity that opened up in operations. So I said, all right, nothing is going to happen in projects. Let me try again in operations. And when I when I got interviewed over there, what do you think happened? Did I get the role? I didn't. So I was rejected over there as well. So, one discontent after another. So that was a time, that was a phase where I kind of went into a shell. I felt, no, things are not working the way I want. When I got a call from one of the senior leaders in the team, and she asked me, can you come over to my room? And I said, in my thoughts, obviously, you can imagine, right? I thought maybe she's calling me to consider me for a growth, an opportunity, a promotion. But when I went there, she said, you know what? We have these EBRG, business resource groups, employee resource groups in our organization, which are there for certain causes. So, like for the well-being of people, for Gen Ed, etc. So she was one of the sponsors, and she said, we are doing a video on that. Would you be interested to be part of it? And I said, yes, I want to be part of it. I completed that video with her. But all the while, I was thinking, I have not got an opportunity to showcase my next step. I did not get an opportunity to get into the next step. And everything that was surrounding me, even the good things that were happening to me, I was kind of feeling very demotivated because you see, nothing really was working. Nothing was working the way I wanted. Uh, the video got, showcased during one of the town halls that we have. During that town hall, after people saw that video, there were so many of them who came over. They congratulated me for being part of it. There were many people who pinged me, called me, etc. And that's when I realized that, you know what, this is an opportunity which probably I didn't ask for, but there were many others who wanted to be featuring in that video. But probably I was the one selected few who got the opportunity, right? So isn't that something that I should kind of be happy about? Secondly, around that time, we have a lot of online courses, which we have tie-ups with several platforms. So at that time, I was doing certain courses on a growth mindset, fixed mindset, growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and all of that. And during that, I understood a lot about the difference between the two and try to resonate it, try to kind of link it with what I'm doing or what the thought process that I'm having nowadays. And of course, it didn't change, nothing changed overnight. But over the course of time, I realized that I am trying to get into a fixed mindset. I need to come out of it. There are so many avenues outside that I can definitely look out for and, kind of invest in. And that I think was a changing, a kind of a learning phase for me where I realized not everything is going to be again. The environment is not very supportive, then we need to take this stride and ensure that people understand your values, right? If you've been rejected, there's a reason that you're being rejected. You need to work harder the next time. And that's exactly what I did. I got lots of opportunities when I tried to change my mindset. I got a lot of opportunities. I continued in the role for quite a bit. After that, I got an opportunity back into operations. And yeah, the rest is history. I came back into operations as well. It's just the way how we look at things differently. There are lots of avenues. I think all organizations provide that. But I can definitely speak about my organization. If you need any kind of an assistance, you do have an employee assistance program. If you feel that you're not being recognized, you can definitely speak to your managers. We have that kind of an open door policy out there. So that's always helped me in kind of communicating with everyone else in the organization so that I try to make the best out of what I am. All right. Then, thank you. Um, Later, some years down the line, when I moved into another role of a people manager, into I think it was a vice president role. We had a we have a team which kind of the team that I had got at that time were kind of demotivated in terms of the fact that there was a lot happening in the team which were very manual in nature. So what we did in order to, fix the kind of disinterest in the team members was to identify what is it that you're doing which is non-value added. So what did I do for that? I sat with the team members, I tried speaking with them, trying and understanding what is it, what are the steps that you do which are not really useful for our entire workflow. Having done that, we were with just that bit of collaboration, speaking with clients, etc., we were able to streamline a lot of processes. But somewhere down the line, we all came up to a stagnation point where we had to take the help of technology for any further automation of processes, to make the process a little better and better and streamlined. But automation projects were taking some time, and all of us became slightly again demotivated because we had good ideas with us, but we were not able to showcase it to anyone. Or it was not, there was no one to help us with the technology development of it. But whilst on one hand, we have several projects which technology was helping us, but those were more of regulatory requirements, etc. But there was some ours, obviously, but it would take probably about a year or so to ensure that that project is completed. That's what we were told. So how it feels, right? We need whatever we want, we need to get it done immediately. So what we said was, let's keep our eyes and ears open. There could be an opportunity that would come our way, which we can probably tap. That's when one of my team members and I went into a call with one of our RPA teams. And when they were providing us some high-level training and overview of RPA, I think all of you know what is RPA, robotics, payments, process automation. So when we were sitting with them, the way they explained, we thought, why not we suggest them that we have a process which we probably want to automate. So we spoke to them. We said we would want to show you our process. Would you want to take a look and see if you want to automate it, if you can automate it for us? They checked our process. Then they said that probably in a week or so, they said, we will be able to automate the process end to end for you. And that project was a big hit. That reduced several touch points in the process, that reduced a lot of manual activities, unnecessary manual activities that we were doing. Plus, it gave a boost to the entire team that was working along with us. That, if we think differently, we can obviously, there are various avenues wherein we can get success. And that was obviously an eye opener or a game changer for the team itself. And many of our team members got an opportunity to present in front of several leaders in our team, in our organization, and they were really happy about it. So much so that even today, the fact that we think differently, that's something that everyone speaks about in my team. If you speak to anybody, they say, all right, this is the way we do it, but I think there's a different way in which we can do things. So that's the way we think differently in order to ensure that, we put across, we think out of the box. We need to do that at times. So now we have a lot of avenues, like I'm sure everyone is aware of AI. AI Hub is something that's there in our organization. We all are trained, almost 85% of our individuals in our organizations are trained on the AI prerequisites. Everyone knows what's happening. We work on a lot of data to see how we can improvise on what we are doing currently. In our current process as well, there are many manual touch points which our team members have come up with ideas to improvise and how they can implement. In fact, there are a lot of interns from various colleges who've joined our teams in the last couple of years who have had the opportunity to work on all these projects as well. So we are not just an operations team any longer, but we are an operations plus project team. So we look at how we can enhance what we do on a day-to-day basis. So, if I have to sum up what what has happened with me in the last several years since I completed college, I think there were two principles of BNY that I would want to call out here. One is stay curious. So I think if I wouldn't have stayed curious, if I wouldn't have wanted to do something new, challenge myself every time, probably things would have been different, not the way it is today. And the second is own it. So that's a very important principle that we, should be kind of resonate. So own it means it's as if it's your own business, right? How would you feel? It's not, you're not working for just for an organization or for the management or for the team lead. You're working for yourself. You have to take complete ownership and the responsibility of what you're doing. And that's a principle that we all follow. And also, the kind of leadership that we follow is also not hierarchical leadership. It's more of thought provoking. So we kind of instigate, in the true sense, instigate others to think differently so that they can come up with ideas and deliver things for us. So that's me in a nutshell. I hope this has been kind of insightful for all of you. Thank you so much.